here at Pro Play Games, and we are around 4 of 7, and we got some pretty big hitters on the stream today. We got ARG Hartford Regional, 3rd place, David Rodriguez versus, coming off his fresh top and Pro Tour competitor from Magic, Justin Rios. And they're both playing, surprise, surprise,
Mecha Frieza. But hey, we've got the green-blue variant, and we've got the red-blue variant. So we've got Kid Goku and the Saiyan variant. So we'll see how this match goes. I expect this to be a fairly quick match, to be honest, just because of the nature of both of these decks.
Justin Rios on the Mecha Frieza red with the combo, the notorious combo. Bandai, listen up. This is it. This is what we need to address. And we're going to see Justin here piloting this deck. Has a few days of work. I don't think he's, well, he might have mastered it. I mean, he's a very good card game player. He's only been playing the deck for about a day. And then we have David Rodriguez on the left with Mecha Frieza green. And like you said, utilizing some cards, some brand new cards, like the Kale, Saiyan, Teamwork Kaba, and, of course, the Explosive Spirit Son Goku, as well as the Khalifa. So we're going to see how this match plays out. Justin's going to start off with a Planet Vegeta free, getting a Saiyan, and then playing the Saiyan Goku, the baby Goku that actually looks at the top 7.
Not a baby Goku.
And get the GT.
It's just pint-sized Goku.
Pint-sized Goku.
Baby Goku. I call Baby Goku because he's
when he was actually a baby. Yeah.
This was
just when he was like,
adjusted.
Adjusted.
He was adjusted to become a kid by the Dragon Balls.
Whatever. They're all kid-sized. So kid-sized Gokus.
Fun-sized. See what I did there?
Fun-sized Goku deck.
Tell me I'm clever. Do it. Tell me I'm clever.
Tell him.
Fine, be that way.
You're clever.
Yeah.
David starting off here with Manaka. Justin had 2 Self-Awakened cards, or 3 Self-Awakened cards, so he started off at 5, and then David's going to go straight down to 7 off the Manaka, and it looks like he might only have that.
Going out of 6 with the Planet Vegeta.
It's the Planet Vegeta, the foil Planet Vegeta. You can see the foiling on there.
It's so shiny.
Beautiful foil, by the way. We're sold out. We had them at $5, so for those of you guys who are on top of our website and snagged that deal, congrats, because we had a good amount, and now they're a whopping $32 on the low.
Yeah, I mean, it was going to be an expensive card from the beginning. It was always going to be a money card. And it's just progressively going to get more interesting until this deck, something happens to it. Because it's literally, I think that Justin's deck is the best deck in this format.
Absolutely. Best deck in the room and best deck in the format without question. But we're going to see how this variant does, because these are 2 members of Team PPG, and David was on this with Alejandro and a few other minds from PPG. So we're going to see how this matchup works out in that favor. I mean, obviously they chose to play this deck because it didn't have a terrible time against the red combo deck. But we'll see how.
It's still a bad time.
Still a bad time.
Still a bad time, but it's got a little bit more oomph to it because of the bloodlust, because of the other options the deck has. However, Justin's deck, and I've gone over this online before multiple times with people. The Goku Mecha Frieza deck has the potential to do a literal FTK. If you go second, you are going, the potential for you to win that turn is a thing.
Yes. And,
then it's automatically like turn 2, turn 3, it's just getting worse and worse and worse. The more energy you have, the harder it is for your opponent to actually handle it. And again, once you awaken turn 1, the sky is the limit. It really is. And unfortunately, I personally think it's very unhealthy for this game.
No, absolutely. I look to you. I agree exactly with what you're saying, and I really hope that this is addressed, because I only played like 1 or 2 games against it, and I was like, okay, I'm done, because this is just outrageous. And you're gonna see Sagesh come down here, and that's the ability to bring out one of the few troublemakers, which is step 1. Now, for those of you who don't know how the combo works, Sagesh summons a Saiyan that's 3 or less, so he plays, I believe, the Determined Son Goku. And that comes out, and if you have 4 life or less, it actually becomes a converted mana energy cost of 5, allowing you to just straight EX evolve off the bat for 1 energy and 1 card from hand.
Into Victorious Fist, which is exactly what he did.
Which is exactly what you see, and that just came out at the cost of just 1 energy. And looks like Justin got rid of the Super Saiyan 4 Goku.
Really? Pitching the Goku, huh?
That's crazy.
This man.
His hand must be that good.
Pitching the 1-0.
So you saw Cold Bloodlust come down from David, so it's gonna pretty much stop him in his tracks. David's gonna go and take his turn, but it looks like David's really in trouble next turn because there's no Bloodlust on that Victorious Fist.
I see Bloodlust in his grave though. What'd he hit?
He hit the Victorious Fist.
Okay, yeah. Which, by the way, Victorious Fist is a nat 25k attacker, dual attack, and double strike. And when it attacks, untap, give it 5k. So,
It's fun.
Yep. He gets plus 5k and becomes a 30k, and then you drop other boost cards, bring it up to infinite number. Then you go into the Super Saiyan 4 to swing it and burn for 1. So it's just...
And then has the ability to restand. The Super Saiyan 4 has the ability to pitch cards and attack again, correct?
Pitch two reds, untap. Do it again.
So excellent in this deck, especially in a deck like Mecha Frieza where you have so many cards in hand, you're just picking any 2 red cards. The only bricks that you would not be able to discard, Planet Vegeta, Cold Bloodlust, you know, Bean, Monakas, but those are usually gone by then. But of course the Mecha Frieza deck, so it's got his weaknesses of drawing those event cards at uneventful times. So
yeah.
It's definitely something that does exist. There is an inherent flaw to the deck. It is not perfect, but it is still very overwhelmingly powerful. You can see David here just playing a teamwork Kaba, and that will finish. That's pretty much going to finish his turn. And then Justin's got already something. He's untapping with 3 energy and a 25. What is it? Dual attacker?
Yep. Dual attack, double strike.
Yeah, and that is very powerful, especially when facing down a Mech Frieza deck, and they're at 3. So you got to stop those attacks, and you better hope you got some Sageshes. But you're gonna see David obviously probably has a Sagesh explosive Sagesh combo, and if he
you mean the baby coup combo?
And no, explosive Sagesh combo.
The
And
baby coup.
if he does have that, then we'll see some interaction back and forth because we both have 2 very powerful decks to interact on both players' turn, and we're gonna see 2 top-level players playing 2 top-level decks and seeing if they can actually match up, if it's an even playing field or if it's lopsidedly on the Mecha Frieza red deck.
Come on, Mecha.
The thing about this deck that makes it so powerful is honestly, if you make Mecha Frieza once per turn, the deck isn't that good anymore. Like, yes, is it still powerful? Yes, but at the same time, you're not going all off immediately turn 1. It's gonna be turn 3, turn 4 before you can do any of these plays. But it's still kind of broken.
I'm gonna have to respectfully decline that, disagree. Anything you want to say?
It's hard, Machado.
It's very, I don't know. Like even at one per turn, that does not solve a darn thing, unfortunately. This is just a very powerful mechanic, and you have very powerful event cards. And as the game continues forward, you're gonna have more powerful event cards. There's no reason why you're gonna are you gonna not stop are you gonna stop printing event cards? No, of course not. So it's always gonna get worse and worse and worse. Even if this is the worst that it's gotten, it's just, you know, one bad card design, which is great because Bandai has had a great job with the card design up to this point. So it's just something that just spiraled out of control, and that happens in other games. It's not that they made a mistake, but they're on open ears, and it's on the watch list, and now they're on our watch list. So we're gonna see how Bandai responds to this as they watch this go down. And we see Justin taking a little bit of time on his turn. This is obviously the do or die turn for him. David now at 2 after playing a Whis Coercion, and it's not looking good for our friend David. Justin still has a few more plays in here. He has a Sense Bean in hand too, so he can still extend his plays. He's at 4 life, so he still has a large amount of life. And there's so many things he could do. He's still untapped. David's at 1.
Like, on top of that, he dropped 2 pans, put him on the Victorious Fist, and now that thing's just chilling at, you know, 40k.
Justin sees that he's in a really good position here, so he's just gonna pass it over, and he's fine. Those pans are just holding down the fort, and next turn it's doom. David's at 1. All his events are dead. He just played his 3rd green energy. No Whis Coercion, no Cold Bloodlust, no Sensu Bean. Good luck, David.
Like, unfortunately, there's really just nothing you can do except for, ooh, that's honestly, that's the only thing you can do against this deck is you do the explosive Shugesh combo, but then, you know, if you're just hits him with the Bloodlust.
Yeah, if you're sitting across from a Mecha Frieza, you gotta Bloodlust.
But the question here is, does he have the second Bloodlust or the second Shugesh? If he has the second Shugesh, he can potentially go for it again, But now, you know, you've got this Goku that's tapped just chilling on the board, so it's gonna be a target.
You see Justin sitting with another Cold Bloodlust in hand, so.
This is why battering is such an important card in this format right now.
Yep.
I want
battering, we saw actually, I think Marcel's actually main decking battering laser to just stop this foolishness.
Marcel and I have played extensively with these 2 decks over the last 3 weeks. Like, literally, we worked on the mirror match forever. And we were just sitting there trying to figure out the counters. Like, 6, 7, 8 hours a day, Marcel and I were playing these 2 decks. Just, the mirror match is insane. If you have the Bloodlust, you can potentially win. Like, there was a point where we literally had a battering war. He Shugeshes, I Bloodlust to Shugesh, he batterings the Bloodlust, I battering the battering on the Bloodlust, and then he hits me with another battering, and I'm just like, yeah, you got it, dude. I got no response after that. And then he goes into the explosive coup and kills me. I'm just
another Shugesh coming down for David on the attack from the Kaba, and another Cold Bloodlust from Justin, and it's looking really bad. Justin now at 2. He still has 3 energy open, by the way. No big deal. Just
got rid of the Super Saiyan 4 though.
3 energy still open. Oh, Mass Saiyan is critically important here because that is lethal.
That is a card.
That is 100% lethal, and it's going to be taking some hands for lunch.
This is rough. It's extremely rough. He's got 2 Senzu Bean in hand, but he's got no blue energy, so he's only got red energy. So Justin, at best, can use one of those Senzu Beans.
Well, if David pumps here, it doesn't matter because it's lethal. So Justin will be able to play a Senzu Bean. Only 1 Senzu Bean though. He's not gonna, oh man.
Yeah, that's game. There's 4 cards in Justin's hand. He can't stop this.
I don't think he can stop this. No. It looks like he just got blindsided by the Mass Saiyan.
He's gonna try though.
See if he has anything here. Oh, he got a pint-sized Goku off of it. No, that's not gonna be enough.
5.
And no, he's dead.
Yep. Even with the 2 pans.
0. So David taking the opportunity. Who went first on there? David or Justin?
Justin did.
Justin did? Okay. So David taking that advantage of going second and being able to get in a swing and then just aggressively attacking the Mecha Frieza deck. Justin was a little bit careless on life. That's the only weakness to this Mecha Frieza deck because it is mono red and you're playing Senzu Beans. You're playing it in a way that is very greedy. You're playing it in a way that Senzu Bean can only be played off your life. So it is a very critical card, that and Cold Bloodlust. You're never paying the energy like that you have. It's a mono red deck that's just playing Senzu Bean and playing Cold Bloodlust just so you can activate it off life. And once you get to that point where you're just like, you can't change Senzu Beans, then what do? But it's a necessary evil. It's a very good card. So
the biggest problem that I found with the deck is the brick potential because you're running 20 something extra cards. Almost half your deck is extra cards. The next thing is when you're playing Mecha Frieza matchup, you want to go second. You want to go second. A, you get a second card in hand, and B, you get to attack first. And that's like, especially with this Goku deck, all of the FTK potential happens when you go second. So it's just, again, hours and hours and hours of playtesting with these 2 decks, and it's just, you go second, and you cross your fingers and hope you don't brick. Like, that's literally all you can do.
Makes sense. It is a very powerful deck going second. You do want to get that first attack, and especially when you have the potential of just winning turn 1. So that's why you play cards like Senzu Bean and stuff like that, because you're so reliant on that turn 1. And if that turn 1 is the turn that you can't actually be aggressive in, like for your game state, it can set you back a little bit. And then when you have very competent players on the other side with another Mecha Frieza deck, granted a different angle to it, you know, it's still something that's very powerful. And I feel like you saw the power of Shugesh there. Shugesh is something else that a lot of players were like, are they going to do something about this card? Shugesh may seem a little bit out of hand. Obviously, the main problem here is Mecha, because you can see both of them playing Mecha. They wouldn't be doing some of the things that they're doing if it wasn't Mecha. So it's not particularly just this turn 2 kill deck. Not saying that it's unbeatable, but it's something that, you know, can only be beat by another Mecha on the other side. I don't see it losing to any other type of leader, and that's why you need to.
I found the way to beat it. I did find the way to beat it.
Yeah, sure.
And it involves the Super Saiyan 3 Goku leader.
Oh, really?
Literally, the one thing that I've noticed playing this deck, and I lost to certain cards. I have lost certain cards. The 2-drop negate the posse attacking card, that killed me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If I didn't have a battering, that killed me. But the one thing that stopped me more times than anything was Yajirobe.
Yeah,
There is zero popping power in Justin's deck. So what I was doing is, you use the new Goku that you get from set 3, use his effect, get 2 energy, turn 1 Yadro pass. That's literally it. That's all you can do.
You could also just Mafuba, one of the biggest hackers.
Mafuba as well, but again, battering. If you have battering, it's just... Locker Revenge is pretty much the only thing that you can use to kill this thing. And when you have to rely on one card to hopefully get it in your deck, in a 50-card deck, it's almost impossible. Like, this is the first time in a long time, I'll say, we have a close to a tier 0 deck. And you know, what other games have had tier 0 decks? I can think of 2 offhand. Yu-Gi-Oh has had 2.
And then you
3, 4. Yeah, it's like Necros, E-Dragons, Spellbooks. Like, how many times has Yu-Gi-Oh seen it? What happened? The entire deck is neutered. Vanguard had the same thing in the beginning. There was a deck that literally just let you draw infinite cards in hand, OTT, and you couldn't beat it because they had too many resources. Tier 0 decks are like, it's not necessarily unbeatable, but it has such a high win ratio and it has such an advantage over other decks that if you don't play it, you lose. And that's exactly what's happening with this Mecha.
With the leader. Yeah,
but they're going to go ahead, they're going to start game 2 now, so we're going to head on over there. There you go.
So we got David. Let's see. I think you choose going second now. That's what they changed it to, right? You choose your choice if you lose the first game. There is no choice when you win the Dairo. You have to go first if you win the Dairo. But game 2, game 3, you have the choice. You know, depending on who the loser was. And it looks like Justin opted to go first. So already putting himself at a little bit of a disadvantage, but you do get the ability of being able to get more mana than your opponent. So you're trading off the extra energy for one less card, which can be fine at times. It really just depends. But you got to make the call before you draw. That's the only problem here. So it doesn't really depend on your hand because you're not supposed to know your hand, you know. So this is round 4, by the way, guys.
3 more after this.
4 of 7. We're halfway through the day.
More than halfway, I guess now.
3:56 p.m. Yeah. I'm actually making pretty good time. Shout out to everyone out there doing a great job making this tournament go smoothly. Fantastic workers we have here, fantastic staff we have here at PPG, doing a great job. Guys behind the screen replacing Lester too, fantastic job. Started off a little rough, but it looks like we're smoothing up. So
to note, there's 3 of them against the 1 Lester.
The 1 Lester. Yeah, Lester, fantastic force. But we're gonna see here exactly. David just played 3 Monakas, and that's never fun.
Seems good. I too like adding 6 cards to my hand.
Same, and it's, you see, no other leader. Like sure, if you make it like turn 1, sure, but that's an errata. I think we've gotten past the point without errata. But if you ban Mecha Frieza, that's never happening. That's never happening ever. So, you know, it's not something like, oh man, I didn't draw Monakas, or yeah, I drew 4 Monakas. Like no, it should never be a question of like who saw more of this card. You know, I feel like that's not something that should ever happen, really. It's just how you use your cards, really. So,
because even if you limit it by, you know, putting yellow cards only on it, it's still gonna be insane. You know,
you got Planet Vegeta.
Planet Vegeta now, exactly. So like red cards, blue cards, yellow cards. That's like your opening play. You're aiming for a Grand Tour. You're aiming for a Monaka. You're aiming for literally half your deck, and you only need 4 cards.
So Justin playing Goku into Goku and looking at his last Goku here, seeing if he hits. He did charge the Grand Tour spaceship, which
step into the Grand Tour.
I don't know if that's, I don't know if that's the best, because I think this is one of the better cards in the deck. Obviously, it can whiff. It is a 2 energy event, which normally on the flip side, on the unawakened side of Frieza, it is just 1 energy. But it is an event that helps you self-awaken. He is awakened now, so it doesn't really matter. But, I mean, it's still a very powerful card. Look at the top 7 and puts a Son Goku GT, Trunks GT, or Pan, or Giru with 1500 or less power and plays it.
So now we're going to see the awaken from Justin since he's at 4. Both players at 4. Again, this is turn 2. This is turn 2, and both players are awakened. There is no other no other card in this game that allows that.
Unless
you open up triple Kaba and Senzu Bean and you're just like bing, 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 bing.
But those are cards that you have to draw. This is like, you don't have to, I mean,
you literally don't have to do
especially when half your deck is events, you know? Like, it's not unrealistic to be like, oh, I opened 4 different events when you're playing 20 events, you know?
And if anybody says this isn't a consistent thing,
no,
this has happened in both games.
100% is consistent.
It's a very consistent thing. If anything, it's 65 to 70% consistent, which is way too consistent. And both players have done it. Both
players have done it. Yeah, it's not just about one deck here. We're not talking about Mecha Frieza Red. We're not talking about Mecha Frieza Green. We're talking about just Mecha Frieza.
Mecha Frieza.
And that is the only underlying thing here. Like, David's not even playing Red. Justin's not even playing anything but Red. You know, he's playing some yellow cards that abuse the leader. You know, he wouldn't be able to play a Cold Bloodlust if he didn't have yellow in his deck and ruin the consistency of his deck. You know, so. And Tagesh almost as bad, because all you need is the yellow leader, and then it just has like this combo where you're just like, you can never attack me all in because you're gonna get punished.
See, what kills me is they're very easy fixes.
Yes.
It's like Shugesh, Sand Leader, done. That's all it needs, a yellow Sand Leader. Shugesh is now fixed. Well, the next thing, of course, is either ban Mecha Frieza or neuter Mecha Frieza. And the way that you neuter it is either make it once per turn or make it only yellows. Because if you make it, it only works with yellow extra cards. What is the only target in the deck that you can do anything on turn 1? Right now, Planet Vegeta.
Yep.
I mean, you have to wait for a response to do Cold Bloodlust or Crusher Ball.
You could still chain Planet Vegetas. That's kind of annoying.
Yeah,
still,
that's
but
4 cards out of a 5th card deck.
Whatever change they end up doing, they got to make sure that they hit it right, you know? So, if they do want some information, they could always email us at info@proplaygames.com. We definitely have some players that have figured out the format. I don't know. I'm just here commentating. But they know the powers. They know exactly the solutions that would make things a little bit more fair. So hopefully that does end up developing into some type of an R&D team. I'm sure they do have their own design team.
Bandai, I've told you. Hire me. I got this. I will literally do everything that needs to be done.
But this is something definitely that, you know, we're going to see how they handle. And they did do step 1, which is, hey, we acknowledge. And now it's, hey, we are watching. And then it's, hey, this is...
We are doing this.
Exactly. So, thankfully, no big events this weekend. I mean, like, it's just release events, which are, you know, almost regional size events. So they are pretty significant. But a lot of people are actually trying to deal with this for the first time. So we're going to see if it can be dealt with. And as far as we've seen so far, there really hasn't been any stopping, you know, these type of decks. So we're gonna see later on in the day how this develops into, and yeah, I mean, we could be completely wrong. I doubt it, but it could always be something.
My biggest fear is that this is exactly the meta we see next month in San Jose.
Yeah.
That is my biggest fear. So like, yes, there are ways around this deck. Are they consistent ways around this deck? Absolutely not.
Yeah. Are they feasible ways? No, I don't want to play Yajirobe in every deck. I want to play Mafuba in every deck. Like,
there's spots like 1 or 2, sure, but you have to play 4 Yajirobe, 4 Mafuba, so that's 8 slots in your deck that are now dead slots. Yeah. Because if your opponent, like, again, sure, you can side them out maybe if you're not facing Mecha Frieza, but I'm telling you now, if this is the way that this format's going to shape out when we go to San Jose, because, you know, me and you are both going to San Jose, so like, if we go there and literally this is the meta, I would not be surprised if 70% of that event is Mech Frieza.
So this is, yeah, they're both undefeated at the moment. They're both 4-0. I mean 3-0, sorry, leading up to round 4. So the winner here would be 4-0. And they're one of the few PPG players still undefeated here. I believe Peter Katani, Alejandro is undefeated. Juan Brand. Marcel, not too much luck on his side. He is playing this Mecha Frieza deck, but we don't know how much. I don't think I've ever seen him play Mecha Frieza ever. So he might be learning a little pieces of the deck as he goes. Obviously, you mentioned that he is playtesting with. He's been playtesting with you, but we don't know. But what we do know here is that Justin has. Whoa! What happened? Oh, the Kale came down.
Oof.
No.
That's a Kaba and a Khalifa on the board. And 2 Kales. That's his energy.
Okay, so he still has the level 5 Goku. So he can still do some things. You see a few Planet Vegetas in his hand. It looks like he's just missing the final piece, any big attacker. Whether it be, I think it's Broken Limits or Hyper Evolution.
Victorious Fist.
Victorious Fist as well. Yeah, Hyper Evolution being a one of.
He's also playing Broken Limits, so he's playing. Justin's playing 8 different 6-drop Gokus that could potentially go into Hyper Evolution Super Saiyan 4. To note right now, if you look, I see a yellow energy chilling in Justin's energy area. He learned from last game.
Wait, Planet Vegeta can get a Time Patrol drone?
Yeah, he's a Saiyan.
That's insane.
It can get any Saiyan 4 less.
That card is so good. That card is so good.
It's ridiculous. Like, there's just... What do you do? Like...
I mean, it has so many good targets. Planet Vegeta does. This seems like the closest thing to a staple that we've almost seen.
And the funniest...
Obviously not Senzu, like Senzu being more of a staple, of course, but...
You know what the funniest thing is?
No.
This deck isn't even using half the effect of
Planet
Planet Vegeta. The other half is at the end of your turn, switch all Great Apes in your battle area to active.
Yep.
So it's like, this is just half the card we're using to search out a Saiyan who literally just abuse. Like, Mecha Frieza abuses cards. Like, there's a difference between playing a card and overusing a card. And in that is just what makes it unhealthy. You're cheating energy. You're cheating your energy costs.
I really want to see a Mecha Ape deck. We gotta go out there and actually
Mecha Monkeys?
see if we can find some. Yeah, I want to see a Mecha Monkeys deck. Because they're all, what, blockers and stuff, so Planet Vegeta must be insane with them.
It's very different. It's a very different matchup. Because, those are the 3 Mecha Frieza decks. You're either running the green-blue variant, the red variant, or the pure yellow variant. So Bandai gave 2 different deck lists in order to try and combat these two, like this main deck. And honestly, I love you, Bandai. That sell list ain't working. And they created a Great Ape deck, but the Great Ape deck also with that leader, it's just not going to be able to handle it. Sure, you throw a lot of blockers on the board for relatively low cost. However, it's going to take you a few turns to get there. Same thing with the Cell Chain. You gotta make it to 3 or 4 energy before you can really do anything with a Cell deck. Does it have options? Sure. Are they viable in a super fast format? Absolutely not. I think both of the decks that we got from Bandai are, well, unplayable for one. Neither one of them are playable decks in any kind of professional aspect of this game. As a player who's been in this game since day one, who has competed like in real competitive events, Machado, you as well, we can look at a deck. We've been around forever. We can look at a deck and tell you if this deck is going to work or not. Unfortunately, both of the decks that were supposed to be responses to this Mecha Frieza, like these Mecha Frieza decks, are unplayable. You can't use them against these decks and expect to beat any other deck in format. So it's like, sure, if you make a deck that's completely revolving around beating the Mecha Frieza deck, you're going to lose to the rest of the decks.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not something that you need to, like, you shouldn't ever have to be like, okay, I'm just going to main deck, for this card because I need to if I play against this deck and it's dead, and then it's like... Well,
you want options that are viable, always, never
You always
dead.
want a healthy metagame too. You always want to have different choices. Like, we did have a healthy metagame before this, for sure. We had, like, 4 different regional champion decks, and then we had one that actually repeated in Starter Coup. And, even Starter Coup was not, like, the best, we actually ended up having 2 repeat decks.
It was Mecha Frieza and Goku.
And 2 Gokus.
So but, one life for David,
and
2
looks
life
like he's going all in
for
here.
Justin. He's pushing
with Destructor Champa for the double strike.
Oof.
So exactly what I was saying. Sagesh is not going to be able to stop his attack, even if he is playing Sagesh. The assumption, because it's a leader, so you're not going to be able to kill it. He has to out combo here. It's going to be very hard to. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and
cheat himself with the blue, and that's match.
And that's game. Yeah, and Justin losing this match 2-0 to David Rodriguez's Mecha Frieza Green, and you see the power of Mecha once again. I mean, David doesn't seem like he was doing many unfair things, but Mecha Frieza just, like, if one opponent's doing it, then the other opponent is doing it. And it's just such a powerful card. He was able to cheat out all his cards. He was able to, cycle through his deck. Awaken turn. What we saw, like triple Monaka opening there.
Triple Monaka turn 1 for David.
3 Monakas and like a Planet Vegeta or something like that. And it was just he just awakened straight off the bat, and he was just, the advantage was there. and he was able to attack too. So it's something that's very powerful. It's something that, you know, only Mecha Frieza can do. Like we said, there's no other deck that can really do something like that.
Think of it this way. Start out with 6 cards in your hand. You're getting rid of 3 and doubling it. Then Awakening, adding 2 more. You are adding 8 cards to your hand at the cost of 3. What do you do? Because now you've got 11 cards in hand on turn 1. Your opponent's still sitting at 6. Like, there's no real response to that. Like, you're just instantly gaining advantage over your opponent, and it's just unfair.
It's a very good deck, and you can see Justin's red mecha. You can see that it is almost like a glass cannon, but it's something that's applied by the same energy source as David's deck, which is Mecha Frieza, and you take away that energy source and you make the deck so much more fair, and it's something that's not going to be as accelerated so much, so that other decks actually have a chance to go ahead and get something like very, you know, very defensive, something that can actually do something about it. So that deck obviously not unbeatable, but Mecha Frieza itself as a leader, just that, and just add any filter, add the little shell of Mecha Frieza, and then you got something that can do very unfair things. And if you're not Mecha Frieza, you're at a significant disadvantage already, no matter what the core.
So I agree, but what we're gonna do real quick, because we got a little bit of time, that match was super fast, we're gonna go grab David and we're gonna interview him.
Yeah. Well, let's
interview him.
Let's
go.
Cool.
Philippe Roger here, co-owner of Pro Play Games. Here at PPG, we're constantly doing stuff to try to bring you more content and bring you more DBS deck techs and more coverage for you. And we're happy to announce our affiliation with dbsdecks.com. DBS Decks, the guys over there, Mark specifically, are working very hard to compile a list of all the top decks from all of the events across the nation. And there, you could see even cards played on a percentage base within the archetype. So it's a great website. We encourage you to go and use that. So go ahead and check it out, dbs-decks.com, and check out Pro Play Games for all your DBS needs. Stay pro.